So here we are looking at this chart here. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm just doing a quick beta test. I've been kind of testing this all day. Ironically, this is also Apple's beta test screen capture software. Shout out to OBS. I'm simply using my onboard mic. It probably sounds like shit. Just laying in my bed at the end of the day, looking at the market, and it looks like it is live. It is live, folks. Trading is live. I just want to see if it was like auto updating, and it looks like it is. So that's pretty cool. Not sure if the buffering is okay, what the dealio is there. You guys are probably really confused if you're just watching this. I did have a pilot episode earlier that completely crashed, so I'm just using bare minimum here. Just got my laptop. If you can hear me, welcome, welcome. I am Nerves of Steel. That is the channel I'm broadcasting on, my YouTube channel. That I am an ex-gamer. Used to play a lot of League of Legends. Was completely trash at the game. So I've since become a full-time DGen. And I'm embracing it wholeheartedly. And my goal right now is starting very, very small, just taking small trades. I started with like half a tau or maybe like 0.75. I'll have to look at my wallet. We'll do that too. We can do exploring, and 'cause I actually don't even know how to do that. Well, I know how to do it. I just haven't done it. So the thing is, this is a subnet on BitTensor. This is their a website called Tau Market Cap. I have a few different websites I use. Tau Stats. IO is where I do like trading. So as you can see, this kind of just tells your wallet balance up here, um, and it tells you how much Tau I have. So I'm really starting small. I have a few different wallets, but this is just kind of one that I've wanted to start from nothing and just kind of build on that. So um, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, just kind of wanted to make like a sort of tutorial how-to video, how I look at trades, how I go about doing research on different subnets, how I actually make trades, what sort of wallets I use, etc., etc. Because this has become a pretty all-encompassing, time-consuming hobby of mine lately, and I think it would be silly of me at this point, because everything's completely legit. There's nothing illegal, and I feel like this would be a very helpful thing for people kind of just getting into it. As you can see, also I am trying to mine on a few different things here. I don't know. Is that showing my terminal? Probably not. Uh, yeah, so I got a terminal up here, but they're not, doesn't really look like we are, let's see. Yeah, anyway, so, knowing what I know now, yeah, I was just saying, for whatever reason, the screen capture software doesn't, and why am I upside down? Am I upside down for you guys? Ay, 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 ay. Hang on, gotta fix this. That's so silly. I was upside down that whole time. Hence the beta test. Alright. Oh my god, I look like I don't even know. Okay. Whatever. Probably not gonna release this. If I do, if somehow people are watching this. This is literally the first video I've like ever made streaming about crypto or anything. So, I mean, I've done like a bunch of gaming videos, but this is new for me. Um, yeah, so next thing, yeah, this is just kind of what I do. And I feel like, as I evolve, I want to like play music in the background. Like, I have a bunch of things that I use, like methods, tips, tricks. And I feel like once I gain some momentum, maybe people will see, gonna spread the word. It helps build, it helps add value to the subnet because it draws people in, and from there it becomes a very profitable rabbit hole. I think, if that makes any sense, it's more of like um, a really good community of people. A lot of them are really intelligent, altruistic, down to earth people. Who a lot of them just have motivations beyond just making money. And I think you'll find a lot of projects in crypto, especially in artificial intelligence, where that's just like all they care about. And truth be told, this really BitTensor is, and I'm just getting into the space. I did a lot of research on crypto projects before I kind of jumped into one, and I never looked back. Like it was a no brainer for me. I mean, they're literally building a brain with neurons, and it's decentralized. So for anyone who knows anything about anything that I just said in the past, in the former sentence, will register. Um, yeah, I mean that's what it is. You're building a brain, and the yeah. So that being said, I invite anyone to come check out a lot of these documents. I think mainly what I want to focus on, like if I was to show you kind of, let's see here, if I can go to my uh, let me go to my wallet and down here. Do 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 do. If I only had a brain. This might just be on only. Yeah. See, it's interesting because hang on a second. I swapped 13 for 15. Okay, yeah, that was right. I guess that was less than an hour ago. Okay, so this is live. Um, so yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to show you where I started. How much money I added. It was like roughly. So I started with point 0.4 actually, less than I thought. Um, then I just kind of started swapping. Um, what was this? Maybe it was just on Tau market cap. Anyway, yeah, so we're up to about a dollar, or I mean, one Tau 36, which is the equivalent. So it was like started with like 70. I guess it's not that much of an impact, but it's slow, it's steady growth, and I just kind of wanted to show you. Last night was really exciting. This subnet particularly, I think I got in right around like what this actually. It was like right around the highs. Uh, and I probably exited maybe with it was a pretty decent amount of profit. It was like 40% of an incre of a profit from a small amount. Sometimes it can be easier, and that's why I recommend with people, even for people trading thousands of dollars. Well, I guess I shouldn't. Yeah, never mind. Don't take advice. I always hear people. That's like the first thing they say. This is not trading advice. Do not take this advice or whatever. I think it's always smarter, logically, to, especially when the market cap is very small on this particular subnet, and that's where the research comes in. Knowing what you're doing, you can kind of see here what the price is worth relative to tau, relative to the other subnets, because that's really what it's about. And it's kind of sizing up your own investment in terms of what's being traded at the moment. And for me, since I'm starting small, these um, particular subnets are smaller market. I mean, this actually doesn't have a market cap yet because there's nothing. This is a subnet that was recently just acquired by a company called Oro, and they are building a subnet on BitTensor. And this previous subnet actually got more or less deregistered, which can happen. Which makes the risk ultimately really high if you invest and you get alpha, which is the dynamic version of tau when you invest in a subnet. Um, yeah, so I think it's just important to yeah, keep that in mind. Um, it's pretty cool too. I really like Tau Market Cap, how it gives you a live list. I mean, I know how to do this also in Terminal, so I don't want to seem like I'm completely tech illiterate. I use Linux, I use Mac, I use Windows. I use all three actually, and I use Terminal all the time. To even use the Bit client, the BT client, to run like a subnet list live, and you can see that all the prices update list. You could set the frequency to 1 second or 3 second, whatever you want. Um, so yeah, I'm familiar. I know how to do this with very basic hardware, and I think that's what I love about BitTensor. It showed, and it really got me into learning more about tech itself, computers, from basic hardware, how it functions, the computing language, all of that. It's really, really like shaped how I see not just crypto and AI, but just technology, machines. Um, it's kind of like reignited my love for that because of a lot of the developers, because of the tech behind it, because of the ethos of the culture of this community. And I'm just a nobody investor, I'm just some kid who used to play video games on his laptop, and now I'm trading on the subnets, with very small amounts. The risk is relatively low for me, and my goal it's to make money also, but I have my dreams of creating my own subnet one day, and then I also would love the chance to mine, to be able to extract tau through intelligence and be able to participate in the network by earning tau and making a living like that. I just have a lot to learn, and I'm not naive enough to think I can just do something, you know, um, without really putting my nose to the grindstone. And that's what I want to do. I'm trying to use my time, and that's why we're here. So I'm kind of just relaxing, looking at the prices here. I've watched some videos of people doing like scalping trade videos. Uh, I could turn on my light, but I'm probably not even gonna release this, to be completely honest. But what I really look for is um obviously the bullish signal. That was like the first thing I really learned about trading, was how to identify bullish signals in um charts. And this is basically, if I had to bet, I would say this is a very, very, very bullish signal. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's, you get the green light, and it's usually when I would make a trade for this particular subnet. So this is Handshake, subnet 58. I would um go to Tau Swap because you can swap it instantly. If you use your wallet, we'll do both here just to kind of show people um, what the dealio is. And I don't want this to come across like gambling at all. I'm really, really, really trying to avoid that. I don't want this to be just about gains. I really want to educate people about what BitTensor actually is and why I actually invested in it in the first place. Um, it's because I truly. Oh, actually, I had this sort of prophecy, more or less, on the internet. I realized later that it was more than likely a post about this prediction if the market cap of BitTensor ever reached what the market cap of Ethereum was, like what the price would be. Um, or something along those lines. So we're looking at subnet 58. I have a few different subnets I'm invested in. Some of them, I call them static subnets. Some of them are, I think of it a lot like time. Like I'll invest in a subnet for a whole day or a week, or some of them I'm like, this is going long. Just how some people have predictions on that. I just see it as the subnet. It makes it easier for me because I can tell the way that things are moving in the community. I always like to check Discord too. It's really, really important to talk to people on there to make sure that it's not a scam. I mean, I've seen people lose lots on this just from trades going into nothing in the blink of an eye, and or the whole market crashes sometimes. Like it's crazy. So I would say my prediction here, what I'm gonna invest in first was the subnet 15. Looks like it's still relatively hasn't moved at all, so kind of not gonna do that. We're gonna invest uh, sub 13. We're gonna divest subnet 13 and put it into 58, which is a relatively new subnet. Handshake is newer, or at least they rebranded. A lot of that's rebrand their name and their logo. Not a thing actually. It's more just literally rebranding. Sometimes they, decide to take a new direction. And the subnet becomes something completely different. I've seen the Nitro. I've seen that happen with even D search kind of changed a lot. Um, there's a lot of different companies, subnets. It's like, what more profitable we have better. That's part of why it's important to invest in or to spend some time doing research. I think this is gonna go up too. That's the other reason I didn't want to take out a 13. I think because this has just been one of the most bullish. Okay, well, yeah, that's Tau. We're looking at Tau. This is the price of all the subnets combined. Um, yeah. So yeah, this is the actual subnet 15. The one we've been kind of the one that really made me pretty much all the profit from yesterday. Like I said, it's not Quant anymore. The logo's different. New company. They don't have any miners currently. Obviously, they just launched. I mean, they don't have much of anything really. It's sort of a company that has a pretty good credibility. From what I understand, they've worked with some other pretty big tech software development AI companies. So they have a pretty good reputation, carry a lot of weight that way. Um, that being said, still I would say I wouldn't go long on something like this because it's newly launched. So I wouldn't say this is something that's like a safe investment for more than, it's a hot one. So like for a couple hours, to be honest, it's like yeah, it makes you money and then you got to get out. So um yep, obviously there's no miners here. You can look at the holders. That's always a pretty good thing to look at also. Uh Most of it's owned by one person. Um and that's part of the reason I was making some really really profitable trades yesterday. You know, with an initial investment of like $90 when I was making trades that were making me $50 back, like that's a pretty big, you know what I mean, for me what I started. So I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just saying this was actually pretty rare. As a matter of fact, it doesn't happen every day. I wish it did. That's the goal, really. And it's not because Tau or BitTensor. It doesn't. It happens on BitTensor. It doesn't happen for me. um. So yeah, that's the goal. Is to get aligned with the protocol. Learn how where I actually would I have to be open to everything, and that's kind of where my head's at right now. I know that BitTensor's the one. It's the one for me, babe. It's the AI for me. And I know that BitTensor is the one, and I just want to find out where I can go that would be the most um, useful. If you saw that, did anyone just see that spike? Yeah, so there was some subnet here, move the needle, as they say in the crypto game. Um, Yeah, I do mean that. I think BitTensor really is the one crypto. That's the only one I focus on because there's so much to it. There's so much like just even going like learning about running a light node that was big for me. Um, just really everything, human consensus, like all of it. Like I didn't even really know about Bitcoin before, so I just kind of like I dove right in and I found what I thought based on it. And I did some research with a friend of mine too. We were both kind of getting into it at the same time, and we just kind of talked at length about different startups, like what I would invest in. Like we wanted to mine, and BitTensor was cool because there's so many opportunities to mine without really expensive hardware. It was like a lot of intellectual stuff, and you didn't need GPUs, and I'm still, I've been registered to a few, like a lot of actually. Probably I've registered to five or six, seven, I don't know, maybe eight subnets so far. Um, Successfully connected to only like two or three or four of the actual like validators. And yeah, so I mean, I have a pretty good understanding. I wouldn't say that I'm successful, obviously. I haven't made any money, but um, I've learned a lot, and that's really valuable to me in that way. Just knowing, just understanding kind of the bigger picture, how it fits in to actually the global narrative of, and not just crypto, not just America, all that stuff. So, and I really like Constantine Jacob Steves, one of the founders. I think he's brilliant. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, they have a lot of good backing, a lot of really good stories, and people involved. BitTensor Guru. I mean, there's just all kinds of really positive people in the community. I mean, the developers too, like tons and tons of there's just so much to it. It's like it's completely its own. I mean, Constantine calls it his own nation state, not his own, but he calls it a nation state, and that's. I mean, it literally is what it will eventually become and used for sure, because that's the really the protocol. So yeah, I think if I had to guess what jumped the needle there, it was probably 15. Um, or maybe it was 58. I guess we I guess we switched out. Yeah, we switched out of 15 and swapped into 58. And there is another subnet I kind of wanted to that I've been thinking about. It was swap. I think there's some type of. 'Cause I remember listening to Constantine in a very early discussion about how they were going to reward people for liquidity, and I always thought